Okay, so we have already learned how to find the surface area of prisms. Now we're going to look at how to find the surface area of pyramids. So we're going to be focusing mainly on our just surface area formula today. You find lateral area within that, and we're going to look at that lateral area a little later. So we're going to focus on surface area right now. So let's look at what these letters mean. So L means the slant height. L is this piece right here that is slanted along one of the faces, okay? That's your L, that's your slant height. And then you're going to have P, the perimeter of the base. You're just going to add up all the sides of that base. And then you're going to have the big B, which is the area of the base. So these are the three things that you need. You need L, you need P, and you need big B. Okay? So we're going to find all of these in this formula. So L is your slant height, and number one, it's 11.7. P is your perimeter of your base. It looks like we've got a square down here, so I'm just going to take 8 times 4 to get 32. And then my area of my base, my area for a square is side squared, so that is going to be 8 squared, which is 64. And now I'm ready to plug in. So my surface area is 1/2 times 11.7 times 32 plus 64. So plug it all in. When you do that, you get 251.2 meters squared. Okay. Next problem. We still need our slant height, our perimeter, and our area of our base. So here, my slant height is that 7.4. Our perimeter, again, this is a square, so 5 times 4 is going to be 20. Our area of our base, we're going to use side squares, and since it is a square, we're going to do 5 squared, which is 25. So plug it in. 1/2 times 7.4 times 20 plus 25. You end up with, I'm going to go ahead and box my last answer in, but you end up with 199 inches squared for this answer. Much easier to see your answers when they're boxed in. Helps me grade your papers. Let's look at number 3. Still need slant height, still need perimeter, still need my area of my base. So if you look at number 3, the height that it gives me, it's not slanted, it's actually the height from the very bottom of the base to the very top. That's not slant height though. Slant height looks something like this. I'm going to draw it in. It looks like this, and it's not given to me. So I got to find it, and I got to get creative to find it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this very center point to the edge, and what I just did was I made a right triangle right here, if you can look at it three-dimensionally. Right there is a right triangle. And I know that this piece is half of the whole side here, so this piece is actually 8. And since it's a right triangle, I can use Pythagorean theorem to find my slant height, which is what I need. That slant height is C in the Pythagorean theorem problem. So I'm going to do 3 squared plus 8 squared equals my L squared. So I've got to add those. 3 squared plus 8 squared, and then I've got to take the square root of it. So my slant height is going to be 8.5. Now my perimeter of my base, this is a square, so 16 times 4 is going to give me, let's see here, 64. My area of my base, I'm going to do side squared, which is 16 squared, which is 256. And plug in. 1/2 times 8.5 times 64 plus 256. So if I plug that in to my calculator, you get 528 feet squared. Okay, so the next one, still need the same things, slant height, perimeter of the base, area of the base. So number 4, if you look, here's my slant height, it's 6.7. My perimeter of my base, here's my base. I've got to add up all of the sides, which they look like they're all 10. So 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 30. And my area of my base is 1/2 base times height, this time because it is a triangle. So 1/2 of my base of my triangle is 10. And my height of my triangle is drawn in for me right here, it's 8.7. So if I calculate that area of the base, I'm going to have 0.5 times 10 times 8.7 is 43.5. And now I'm ready for my surface area formula. So my surface area formula, I'm going to do 1/2 6.7 times 30 plus 43.5. It's going to end up giving me 144 inches squared. Alright, so let's skip down to number 6. So I still need the same thing, slant height, perimeter, and then my area of my base. So if you look, what do you think slant height is in this picture? Take a wild guess at it. 11.3 should be your slant height. Now your perimeter, I know one of my sides is 6, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides that are the same. So 6 times 6 is 36. And then look, it is already giving me my area of my base. It's 93.53, so I just have to plug in 1/2 times 11.3 times 36 plus 93.53. Alright, so if you plug that in, you get 296.93 yards squared. Alright, so let's take a look at cones next. Flip it over. Focusing on the surface area formula for today. What you need is your radius and your slant height. Slant height looks the same in these figures. Number 7 already gives it to you. So your radius is 7, your slant height is 11.4, so all you have to do is plug it in. Pi times 7 squared plus pi times 7 times 11.4 to get 404.64 meters squared. So I'm going to skip down to number 9 next. Need radius, need slant height. Okay, it gives me slant height right here. It is 27.3. But what it doesn't give me, does not give me my radius. But I have a triangle here formed, so I could use Pythagorean theorem to find my radius. I could do r squared plus 25.2 squared equals 27.3 squared. And I want you to solve that. You should be able to solve that on your own. Should get 10.5. And then just plug it in. Pi times r squared plus pi times r times slant height. I'll let you calculate that later. gonna let you do number 10. It's like the application problems on the prism problems that we looked at on our notes 2 days ago, if you want to pull those out. This time, it's just talking about a pyramid. I want to look at number 11 and number 12. So I want to find the surface area. So technically, when we talked about composite figures, we broke it down into 2 different figures. That's what we're going to do here. So we're going to find the figure of this, the surface area of this cone up top first. So if we find the surface area of our cone, my surface area formula is going to be that pi r squared plus pi rl. So we need our pi, we need our r, which down here the whole thing is 34, so my radius up here is going to be half of that, which is 17. So pi times 17 squared plus pi times 17 times 20, which is my slant height. That will end up giving me, let's see here, let's calculate it. Pi times 17 squared plus pi times 17 times 20. I get 1976.06 for the surface area of the top figure. Now, this is figure 1. I want to find figure 2. This is a cylinder. So the surface area formula for a cylinder, if you remember, is 2 pi. You're going to use your radius. So again, my radius is 17 squared plus 2 pi times my radius times my height, which is 12. So if I figure this up, I'm going to get 3,997.61. Okay, so that's what they both are together. So let's add those. So my surface area total, if I add those, is 5,073.67. But I want you to think about what surface area really means. It's the area of the surfaces that you can touch within a figure. In this picture, we have this circle right here that is inside of this figure that we cannot touch. It's not on the surface. But we've actually calculated it not 1 time, but 2 times in these equations. So what we have to do is we have to find the area of that circle. We have to multiply it by 2 since we calculated it twice, and we've got to take it away from this total number. So let's find that. I've got to find this area of this circle. So area formula of a circle is pi r squared. So pi times 17 squared is 907.92. But I got to multiply it by 2 because I calculated it twice. So that's 1,815.84 that I've got to subtract. So let's subtract them. So my answer, my final answer is 3,257.83 meters squared. Okay, I'm going to work one more problem with you. Number 12. It says the roof on a shed of a square-based pyramid is a square-based pyramid. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. If the base has a side length of 10 feet and a slant height of the roof is 9.7 feet, find the area of the roof. So I just want to find the area of the roof, and I don't want the base of this square-based pyramid. So that's what lateral area is, when you don't find the base. So I want the lateral area formula of a square-based pyramid. So lateral area is going to be 1/2 times L times P. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find, it tells me that my slant height is 9.4. So 1/2 times 9.4 times the perimeter of the base. Well, I know that the side length is 10, so the perimeter would be 40 if I multiply it by 4. So if I do that, I end up with 188 feet squared. Doesn't want to calculate the surface area of the base of this figure because he's just roofing it. Okay, so I want you to finish up your notes, and then I want you to start on your homework 6. Make sure that you are quiet and working.